Recording from Title One Studio in Sandy, Utah, you're listening to the greatest of all title companies. Hello, my name's Steph Scholl, and I'm here with my co-host, Scott Stevenson, better known as
the Silver Dollar Man. So, hey, Steph, today we have one of our great officers, Brenda Nicholson, who is going to be talking to us about an important aspect of a title company, which is to protect the assets and not have any fraud. So Brenda is going to be talking to us about ClosingLock, which is a platform built to protect every closing.
Brenda. Tell us why this platform is so important for us to have here at Title One.
It's important because it's a protection not only for us, but it's a protection for our agents and our clients and our lenders. It is vital for us to know that where we're sending money is actually where it's going to end up, or where the buyers are sending their earnest money and their down payment. I mean, who has a buyer that can afford to lose some dollars in a down payment or more? I mean, that's pretty significant for buyers to be trusting us to get them the correct information. And this is just a way that allows us to get them secured information and for us to get secured information. Who wants a seller, that's getting $500,000 in proceeds to have it go someplace wrong? It double checks all of the information that they give us and actually verifies it with their bank, so that we're making sure that it actually is going to the same, and it insures it. So it insures up to $2.5 million that that's going to the correct place, either to us or us to them, and to their mortgage company. It verifies all the payoff information to the lender.
If somebody doesn't know anything about this program, give us kind of like a simple explanation of what exactly this program does. Because when we hear about fraud, what does that mean? What is this protection? Just walk us through a little bit.
There's actually multiple levels that it protects. So it does protect the transfer of funds, be it via them to us to them, or us to their mortgage company for their mortgage payoff amount. It protects all of that, just verifying and making sure that the people are who they say they are, so that they know that the information is coming from us. It's a platform that allows us to actually verify their identities. So all of these fraudulent deals that are going on with land only, where there's nothing owed on the property, where things are getting transferred over to the wrong people because nobody's verifying, we're verifying identities now on this system. So it's allowing us to verify not just through the county, because sometimes anybody can go in and change information in the county. So it's allowing us to pull IDs, and they have to verify their identity over this system, which then ensures the transaction again against agents and stuff. So we can do that pre-us closing. So it's better than a letter just going out to some random address that's listed on the state website for them that, like I said, just about anybody can go in and change, and allows us to verify that it actually is the people, because it pulls information from the DMV. So it's multiple levels of protection, not just for money, but for identities. And pretty soon we'll be able, they're right now setting up their RON so that we can do RON closings through them also, which will do the same thing, which will prevent a lot of the fraud that's happening in the system. Especially if they're out of the state or out of the country, and we're never seeing these people. And so we get an identity verification off of the system pre-closing, which means we know who's signing is who says they're signing based off of DMV verifications. And if we can't verify them off the DMV, if it's not pulling up the same information, we know there's a problem weeks before closing actually takes place, which is going to prevent an agent from getting paid on something where the seller is not really who the seller says they are. And that transaction goes through, and then we have a huge lawsuit from the people that actually own the property later on down the line. So it saves everybody a huge headache from not knowing who's really on the other end. We verify who's on the other end.
How was somebody defrauded in the past without this system in place?
Just off the top of my head, that's happened to several companies, including us, is that the hacker gets in the middle of a transaction using the agent's email, changing a letter, a number, a something that it looks like it's legitimate. Your eyes do tricky things to you when you're looking at things. And sometimes when you're in the heat of getting a funding done or something, they'll just change one letter in that email, and then they'll go in and they'll change the wiring instructions. So in one case that I know of, the seller sent the agent the information that they wanted to change their wiring instructions from this bank to this bank. And without verifying it, sent that there. When we went back and looked, legitimately, it had been one letter changed in the agents and all of the bank information. They still had it sent to the seller's trust because that's how they had set up the transaction, because they had been reading the transaction through the emails. And so they knew. So they set up an account with that trust name. Don't ask them. I'm sure they went out and created a trust. They're easy to do, easy to fraud. And then they set up an account and that money was gone within minutes. They had sent it out. And it's one letter here, one letter there, one letter that it's just your eyes when you're in the everything doing it. I think even for when you have time, it fakes you out. And in this case, you can't do that because it's got to be verified through our system. So we've already pre-verified all that wiring information and you don't allow change after they've done that.
You mentioned insurance. So what is that insuring? And how does that work exactly? Which is if they allow something to go through, right? It's on them. So we're protected. The buyers, everybody's protected.
Correct. So what happens is they go into the system. We send out the wiring instructions to them. If they go in through the system and gather the wiring instructions through the system, we are protected. They are protected for sending their money as long as they use what they got off that system and not somebody else that has called them or emailed them. That money is protected up to $2.5 million. Right. So if it gets lost, ClosingLock covers it. If they used the information that they pulled off of the system. And same with us sending money back to them.
The land, like what you were talking about. So has that been a big thing throughout the nation that's been going on?
It has been. I can tell you just in this office between two of us, Mary and I, we've caught 4 that are not this actual seller selling the property. And we did that old school where we were just sending letters out to the property address that's listed on the county records. But again, that's a little bit frightening because anybody can go in and change those county records. It's not monitored. It's not foolproof. And so this actually allows us to verify their identity and let us know who it is. And so I'm feeling much more comfortable now doing land-only deals, especially when I know the seller is not coming into the office, because a lot of times land-only deals, the people are not in the same state as they are. And that's typical. So it's scary that we know that they're not coming in, but how do we verify they are who they say they are? A simple letter and then hoping that the seller reaches out and says, hey, that's not really me. We've caught it 4 times doing that. However, I like this much better because in my land-only deals now, I'm verifying through the DMV that the person is who they say they are.
So interesting. Just a clarification on that. So you have people that are saying they own the land. They're saying they're this person, but they're really not that person. And they're wanting to sell the land and then they get the money and then they just run off with the money.
Correct.
That's wild.
And then the buyer is in a huge predicament because they just paid all that money and they don't own the land because it's not really the seller.
Yes. Wow.
And so the money's gone. The land's not theirs. What do you do?
Well, and I think that like these criminals that are, especially, where you're saying people losing all their money, whether it's buying land or if it's a first-time buyer, it's so sad.
It is.
I remember there was a case and it was like during Christmas time and they lost out. That down payment, like it's months, sometimes years of people sacrificing and saving and putting off other things. And so to have it just be gone, oh man.
Yeah, it's devastating to people. I mean, what's $2,500 to one person may be nothing. $2,500 to a first-time home buyer is everything. I mean, they're not getting a new couch because that was everything that they had scrimped and saved for. And so using this system, why not use it and be safe in what you're doing? With this system, they can also wire their earnest money right through the system. And so they don't even have to go into their bank and hope numbers aren't transcribed or anything like that. They can just wire it straight from, same with their down payment. They can wire it straight through this system. The system takes care of it. It's a $35 fee that then they don't pay a wire fee with their bank. That covers everything. That $35 covers everything. And it's secured. There's no missing of numbers or anything because they're the ones that input it into the system and then ClosingLock sends it directly back to us from their bank. So it saves a step. It saves them from having to go somewhere else. It saves them from having to take in instructions and having them misread or mistyped. It's just like After 30 years in this industry, this is phenomenal to me. I love this system.
Well, I can say it's nice to know, Brenda, that as criminals get more sophisticated,
So do we.
so do we in thwarting their ability to defraud people.
It helps us because I can't check the DMV on every driver's license that comes in. I don't have that ability. These guys do, and we're doing it weeks before closing. So it's something we know way ahead of time, not just, oh, here's my driver's license at closing, or I have to trust on this regular, this random notary that I'm sending out because they're not in the state to take care of that information. It's now being taken care of systems that we don't have the availability to do.
Well, this is another reason why Title I has been recognized here in the last couple of years as best of state, because we not only take care of our agents, we're protecting the consumer, we're making sure that the funds that funnel through our title company, are secured.
Not to mention, we have the best escrow officers. And Brenda,
Yes.
like you said, you've been in the business for over 30 years, but you are so meticulous and so good at what you do. And so I feel like that needs to be shouted from the rooftops.
Well, thank you. I do my best to make sure everybody is comfortable and everybody is taken care of in the transaction, from real estate agent to loan officer to consumer to first-time home. Like everybody needs to be comfortable and everybody needs to feel warm and fuzzy by the time the transaction's completed.
Well, if you want to learn more about ClosingLock, make sure to check out our show notes. And what else should they do, Mr. Silver Dollar Man?
So if you've enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. If you're not doing business with Brenda, you should be.